That is about 100 million of these, 100 million 50 kroner notes poured into the Bank of Belarus every month just to keep it going. So where does the money come from? Well, if you're in a bit of trouble with your student or pocket money, you borrow. And that's what Belarus does. And in the last year or so, Belarus has discovered a superb place to borrow. It's called the European Union. And we've twice in the last year basically covered the debt of Belarus by allowing Belarus to raise the money to cover the salaries for the KGB, the militia, but yes, let's admit it, the salaries for the many, many state employees. And by the way, that's 1 month. How do we counter it? Now, I, and those of us working in civil society, cannot be more grateful for the donors who produced, we heard the figure, millions of euros are now offered for Belarus. Now, on this scale, the amount of money offered for a year of civil society, 8 kroners on this scale. Now, what does that mean? An organisation like EYP Belarus, that's actually a big sum, 87 million. You can actually run about 3,000 EYP Belaruses for that. So it's not so much we use to keep civil society going, and we can do a lot. But the targeted sanctions, the EU has actually come behind the market because there are ways to have closed down this flow of finance that is filling the Bank of Belarus. So targeted sanctions, the flow of loans, and there are certain issues of certain state companies that could be stopped. So that was a concrete one example, pressure from Europe. Thank you.
I do remember the stories my friends told me when Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia was in common state, United USSR, with Belarus, and actually the Baltic states were always more welfare, and they always had sausages. And as Vilnius is quite close to the Belarus, to my hometown, it's about not more than 150 kilometers, there was such sausage tourism. When my parents just took a bus and go to Vilnius just to buy sausages for me, because there were not enough sausages in my hometown in Belarus at all. And I do understand now that how it was important for us to have a freedom movement to Vilnius as a symbol. And that is why I do think that something should be done with visas of simplification. Not only just reducing cost, because also a lot of bureaucracy is required. Of course, you need some security, but it could be simplified. Anyways, also I do remember when our first sessions of Belarus, cross-border sessions in Lithuania, Latvia, or else in Poland or Ukraine, we are always much more afraid of Belarusian customs service and border control than, for instance, Latvian one or Lithuanian one or Polish one. We do believe to foreign countries more than to our regime, the government. And this just shows that we always see them as a friend, European Union as a friend. And for instance, the Swedish embassy is one of the most Belarusian embassies in Minsk, and Mr. Eriksson, I guess, can speak Belarusian language better than a lot of, than our president, I would say. Sure. That's why I would like to ask you to have this information you get here and your own thoughts about Belarus, because we need you, and I do hope you need us.
leave a last remark, I think the question that was raised here in the end, it's very important that the EU and Russia has the same view what will happen in Belarus, because otherwise they will lean towards, okay, now we want to spend some money from Europe, so now we say this, now we want to get some gas from Russia, so we do like this. In the end, to really get to the regime, we need both Russia and Europe needs to speak with the same voice. So I hope that the EU, with every contact that they have with Russia, raises the question of them helping the regime in Belarus. I think that's the only way to get a free and democratic Belarus in the future. Thank you.
Well, I first say, when it comes to Russia, I think the most important, you asked that question, I think it's to see that Russia also has a democratic, which is rather crucial. We have a Duma election, a parliamentary election in December this year. But the crucial point will be now, in May, when there's a question about registration of parties. The last Duma election, the last parliamentary election was not a democratic election. We have to also see that. I was in Moscow yesterday, so I'm full of it. We must also see that Russia goes to the democratic. If we have an undemocratic Russia, it will certainly not be very helpful in putting down dictatorship. But I also say that I think the visa issue is really what it's about, connection and contacts with it. It's totally unnecessary. The EU does not need that money. And it's just a strange way to say that we block the contacts between people that stimulate. We do with one hand to block it and with the other we try to stimulate. It's a rather stupid policy. But unfortunately, we have a lot of those thinking about the security, saying, oh, stop at the borders. I don't think it's even smart from that point. I want to repeat the other thing, but the one thing I can promise you will see that we never will forget what's happening. See that we keep that. Many of us in Sweden, I think, across the topic, problems that we can give for all of us. We see that we keep in contact, we support, and we keep trying to keep the information open. We keep our website updated every week. It should be open there for everyone to see what is happening. Thank you.
Almost everything has been said, so what I want to say is I want to thank you all for being here, for taking your time coming to this session and listening, learning, and discussion, because this is actually making a change. That's what we're doing. And I really hope to see you keep on doing this. And I hope that this was and will be a very inspiring few days. And hope to see you all in the work in Belarus for democracy.
On the night of the 19th of December, I was looking at my Facebook and I got reports of what was happening in Minsk from Robert Hall. He's the General Secretary of the Civil Rights Defenders Institute. He was there as an observer of the election. And it was very dramatic because he was one of those chased by the police through the streets of Minsk. And the learning from that is, be on place. Go there, be there, report back what is happening, talk about it. Let's always talk about it, and let's always try to give people in Belarus the possibility of change. Let's never forget that's the important thing we can do. So let's do that together.